This was the reference when I was talking about earlier how a human is born and what are the stages within the womb of the mother. This was the reference that I was referring to. Read, do some personal search. May Mola be with you. Let's stop here and we can open the board for questioning. G.
Subhanallah, sir, Subhanallah. यहाँ पर पहला question है, so can we recognize our soul through ibadat?
Yes. Ibadat is one of the avenue to pull and to see and to recognize the soul. That is one of the avenue. What is the second avenue? Ilm. As you saw in the Farman just a second ago, where Imam says that you must recognize and pull your soul, and those with the ilm are the one who will know about the soul. So two channels, ibadat and ilm. Ilm and ibadat are the two wings, two channel to reach to the final level. G.
Subhanallah. Another question is, what is the purpose of asking to do chanta for Rohanis when in the majlis there, there is a chanta?
Remember, there are our beliefs and there are our rites and rituals. What is our belief? That we can pray for the Ruhani, and therefore a rite and ritual, a practice is given to the Jamaat that if you take the chanta with the niyat for the Ruhani, then the Mola will forgive his or her sin. What is that? That is the belief, and that is our rites and ritual. Tell me who benefits from that chanta according to Imam's Farman. You remember this Farman? We just had it in front of us. What was that Farman? You remember Chandra's Farman, right? Right here. When you do those things, it is you who benefit 99%. It is you who become stronger. It is your levels which increases. It is your evil thoughts and devil that gets destroyed. It is your sin which get pardoned. And if you are one of those arifin, the mu'mineen, who has the izn for the recommendation, then through you, the Ruhani benefits. Do you understand that? G.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Another question is, what is going to happen after reaching 50,000 years threshold? I know merge with Mola. What after that? Are we taking this human challenge again? Or stay in the spiritual world in eternity without taking challenge to come back as human?
The answer is very, very simple. Up to you. What would you like? What is our human nature tells us? We like to do things in repetition. We like to do things again and again. Once you reach about number 3 and you are with the didar, and when you go from 3 to 2 to 1 to 12, which is your resting place, at that point, it would be up to you and your free will. And there are lectures recorded on free will that you can listen to understand who how and when we could, if we wish to, if we, with our free will, and if we ask Mola Baba to come back, then yes, you can come back and take another journey. But if you don't want to, you do not have to. Imam does not force. He will not force. He did not force. The lifetime that we are living today, we chose this lifetime. We wished and we wanted to come. So Imam granted us this life. The answer is, what would you like? And you don't have to make a decision today. You can make a decision when you get to number 12. G.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Another question is, if the soul is an earthbound soul, I mean very materialistic soul, is it hard for them to leave the earth realm quickly? Or at what time the life review takes place for an earthbound soul? What about other souls' life review? When does it take place?
Very good question. And it would take about 45 minutes to explain, but I will explain in short. Again, I will request you to listen to a lecture called At the Time of Death. At the Time of Death. Listen to that lecture. It will give you detailed understanding of what and where and how. Because you have asked the question here in the short, the last 3 seconds of a human life where all the accounting is being done. Before you leave this earthbound, the word that you use, soul and the body, you will know exactly what you have done good, what you have done bad, where you are about to go, and how close or far you would be from Imam's Didar. That is the short answer. I hope this answered your question. For detail, listen to the lecture, please. You will be really fascinated if you do. G.
Subhanallah. यहाँ पर दूसरा सवाल है. It is from the previous session, asking that if Ruhanis get only 1%, what happens when you pray salawat for your living children and their families? How does salawat work for them?
This is a good question. This is what exactly Imam said. How about who are living? That is a great question. This is a question we should be asking. When we are praying for our own soul and for each other, what we are doing, we are making a chain and we are pulling everyone around us as a jamaat, as a family, as a friend, as a group, just like this group over here. When we pray for each other, because we are both praying, the person who's listening and person who's praying, person who's praying and person who he's praying for, if they are both are combined in this action, then the elevation is much faster. But let's say that our children, our family, our friend are not part of this recitation of this prayer. Then it is just like the first one. 1% goes to them because they did not become the part of your praying circle. They did not join the hand. They did not bound their link to push and pull each other up together. So what happened? They received the 1% recommendation and you keep the 99% of the sawab of the benefit of their prayers and salawat. So our Chandra Mallas, the Farman, listen to it very carefully. All of you combinedly come to Jamaat Khana. First, become one heart combined. Make a chain. Pull each other up. Then if you recite the salawat, then your strength will multiply, your sin will be forgiven, you will be entered into the paradise, and you will have a Nurani Didar. So it is much more beneficial when we are doing it combinedly for each other, so we can pull and push each other. Ji.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Another friend's actually question is, I have heard when someone is sick or his soul does not want to leave the body, is it that the soul is holding material desire or why?
All right, that's another good question. So I'm going to add few things to your question, if you don't mind. Whenever we see a person who is sick and taking his sweet time to die, do not think negative of that person, please. Do not think negative of that person, because that person is sick, in a lot of pain, but for whatever reason, his soul is not ready to go. Do not think ill of that person, okay? Now come to your question. You don't think that Imam has the power to pull the soul in the blink of an eye? Do we have any power to hold the soul back? Do you think we have a strength over Imam's strength to pull the soul? No, we don't. When Imam send the message, when Imam comes to pull, when Imam comes to take, he takes. He takes in the blink of an eye. So, like I asked for your permission to add few things to your question. The question is, why do we see some people suffer more than the others? That is the question. And why some people die in accident, some people die in their sleep, some people die, very randomly, even killed or murdered. And then we see others who get sick and they suffer and suffer and suffer. For those, because your question is about the sick and especially those who suffer for a long time, I think that they are making their akhirat very, very peaceful. What did I say? In their suffering, there is a great reward. I'm not saying that. Look up the Quran, Surah Baqarah, number 2, ayat number 155 and 156, that Allah will test you, and those who will take this test with sabr and shukr, patience and thankfulness, they will be given a great reward. Not a reward, a great reward. So those who at the end of the time suffer a great deal, I believe that they are making their end much higher, much more profitable, much more rewarding. So do not think ill of them. Imam has given them a chance to elevate from 6 to 5 to 4 to 3, even 2 and 1, and even number 12. What would you like? How about we take day, a week, a month, or a year of suffering in return for the shorter 50,000-year journey of the soul? Who are more beneficial? They are the one who are more beneficial. So do not think ill of them. Because if you do, you are harming yourself and not that person and no one else, but it's not good for your soul if you think ill of them. My request, humble request, do not think of that. G.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. यहाँ पे एक अच्छा comment है if you want to add something to it. Friend has
Sure.
said, sometimes we come back to serve or fulfill a mission, not because we are sinful.
If I understand this comment uh, completely, your first part of the comment is really good. Yes, we come over here with our own free will. We may even wish and come back to serve the Imam or the humanity. And that is possible because you will have a free will to do so. But we do not come back to fulfill any other shortcoming of the previous life. We do not. We only come to start a new, fresh life to serve and to make the Imam happy. G. Good comment. Thank you.
Subhanallah. साथी का सवाल है, are we going to see other non-smiley souls dwell with us in the spiritual world if we are on the same level?
Yes. That was a very simple question. Yes.
What is the concept of hell based on our Batini knowledge? I know it's not related, but if you want to comment about it.
Sure. Jannat and Dozak. The hell and the paradise. Hell is the ignorancy. In one place, someone in the front of Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah Salvatullah alayhi, may our soul be sacrificed to their Imam, said, those who die without the recognition of Imam dies a death of ignorancy and they will be in hell. Imam made the correction and said, those who do not recognize the Imam are in the hell today without the recognition of the Imam, and they are living the life of ignorancy. Therefore, they are in the hell today. To answer your question, hell is ignorancy, and the Jannat, the paradise, is recognition, the marifat. G.
Subhanallah. यहाँ साथी का सवाल है, if an evil person enters the spiritual world, how does his soul react when interacting with good souls in the spiritual world? Can evil person soul still think that he has not died and feel like they are still in a body, although they are soul?
I think whoever is asking this question had made it very, very complicated question. How about we make this a simple question? Let's make this a simple question. In this physical world today where we are, how does evil person react and interact with mominin? I'm just dividing them into two portions. Evil versus righteous. How do they interact with righteous? If you can imagine that, then that will answer your question. In this world, the evil person has a free will, so does the righteous. But on the other side, if you are at the level of 6, 5, 4, and under the 3, you do not have a free will. So how will evil will interact with righteous? The righteous will be there for the sake of guiding and teaching, and the evil will be there for the purpose of learning and following without the free will, with much regret. So answer to your question would be that evil soul and the other side will be there to follow, learn with much regret, and the righteous soul will be there happily guiding, teaching. That is the answer to your question. G.
सुभान अल्लाह। एक और सवाल कुछ इसी से रिलेटेड है जिसका आपने अभी जवाब दिया, तो ना चीज वो पहले पूछ लेती है। What if a person has been evil all his life and he dies and enters the spiritual world? How is he going to reconcile his evil thoughts in the spiritual world? What will his hell look like in the spiritual world? And I know there is no physical hell.
I think again, he's making this question very complicated. No reason to make your question complicated, my friend. How about we make it easy? Let's make this question very easy. It's not a hard question. If you only could see the world of the soul, you will instantly understand that there is no free will. And once you take the free will away from a human soul, then there is no good or bad. It's only following and learning. And who would he follow? He will follow the righteous. Who will he be learning from? The righteous. Only thing that he would have compared to the righteous, that is the regret. He will remember what he did wrong and he will regret. As soon he will regret, the righteous will teach him and guide him toward the next level. And then again, he will look at the righteous and he will see what he had done right and he will regret again. As soon he regrets, the righteous will guide him and he will take him to the next. They regret for 50,000 years. With each regret, step forward, and step forward will be given until the soul becomes pure and it will go back to its origin. Eventually, all will go back to the origin. I hope this answers your question. G.
सुभान अल्लाह, सुभान अल्लाह। सर, नाचीज की गुजारिश है, ये 3 सवालात हैं, इनको नाचीज साथ में पढ़ती है। आई थिंक आपके लिए आसानी होगी, और अगर आप बताएंगे तो फ्रेंड्स के लिए आसानी होगी समझने में। Sometimes a family is faced with a making decision for a sick person to take them out of life support. One. Second, if somebody dies in peace or no suffering, then what would that mean? And third question is, if somebody is suffering for a long time because of illness and keep wishing to die or sometimes lose faith.
Okay. So comments and question combinedly. So let's take first one. Yes, unfortunately, sadly, there is some time the family member has to make a decision for the parents, sometimes children, sometimes brother and sister, to take them out of the life support. If that person has made their will, a living will, which will guide you and tell you that if I get into this situation, pull or not to pull my life support. And they can make this decision on their own. They can do that. Or if they did not make their life will or decision, then you can do that for them, because when they did not make that life will, what they are telling you, that I trust you and you can make the decision for me. And that is perfectly fine to do that. There is nothing wrong with it. If that was your question, there is nothing wrong with it. You can do that. That is okay. Second part about the someone dying peacefully, let's say in their sleep or quickly somehow in their things. If they die peacefully, it doesn't mean that they are more righteous than those who does not die peacefully, because that is just a state of mind for us living who are watching our relative die. That is our concept, our thought, that this person died peacefully and that person did not die peacefully. Do not be the judge. Do not judge them with that event. Imam pulls the soul when the time comes. It is not up to you, nor it is up to me. When your time comes, the soul will be pulled in the blink of an eye. The last fine 3 seconds, it will be same for those who die peacefully and those who die suffering in the sickness. That 3 seconds is the important one for both of them and are the same for both of them, no different. So they both will die in the way Imam wish them to die. It is not up to you, nor it is up to me. It is up to the Imam of the time. I believe this answers all three of your questions. G.
Ji, subhanallah. There are a couple more questions very related to it. So inshallah, friends did get the answer for those. Another question is, once we merge at 12 o'clock, we do still have our own personality to ask or wish to come down again and serve the humanity?
I would like to add one more question to your question. This is just a beautiful question. Let me add a question. When do we receive the free will? That would be the question to ask, my friend. Because remember, when you die from number 6, you lose your free will. Remember? The question should be, when do we gain our free will? Do we gain our free will at 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? When do we gain our free will? We do not gain our free will until we cross number 1. Number 1 is the place of fanayat. Number 1 is the place of fanayat. When we move from number 1 to number 12, that is the time when and where we regain our identity, our free will, and then you will know who you are, what your soul wish and wants. And I think I alluded to that when I said earlier, you do not have to make that decision today. When you are at the level of 12, then you can decide if you like to rest or if you like to take the second or the next journey. Because at that time, you will regain your conscience, you will regain your ID, you will regain your free will. So there you can request what you like to do, sit, stay, or repeat. G.
Subhanallah. साथी का सवाल है, can a soul on the fifth rank on the clock see or talk with the soul on the fourth level or the third level?
No, the other way around. If you are on the higher rank, they can come down to teach and guide you, not the other way around. Let's take our worldly example. Can we go to Mola Bapa at Eglomont and just knock on the door? No, he comes to us. Let's take our president. Can we just show up at the White House or the president home, wherever country you're living in? No, but they can come to you and speak to you and talk to you. You cannot reach them, they can come to you. Meaning, the higher level has the authority to come down and teach and guide at the lower level. And the last example will be the example of the elite and the rich and the poor. The money, the knowledge, the wisdom trickles down, not the other way around. It trickles down. I hope this answer your question, and it will give you a picture how thing works in the spiritual life from the example of the physical life. G.
सुभान अल्लाह, सुभान अल्लाह। यहाँ पे दो साथियों के सवाल है, नाचीज उसको कंबाइन करती है। The regret you feel when you are too much in the worldly things, is that regret feels same as when we are going to die and regret? And another
Yes.
friend's question is that
Mhm.
if you regret that you have done something wrong and you ask for forgiveness in this world, how will that work?
Same as the other world. Remember, the physical world is the example or mirror of the spiritual world. It is good and better if we regret here rather than there. If we feel we have done something wrong and when we regret, those sins are removed and forgiven on this side rather than taking with us to the other side, and then we feel regret. It is better to do it here. The regret is the regret, and regret is the regret. Here and there, the regrets are same. So, for a smart, conscious person, will do all his asking for the forgiveness on this side. G.
सुभान अल्लाह। यहाँ साथी का एक follow-up question or comment है। This question is about the soul's journey being less smooth later if not suffering at the end of life here.
No,
अगर
I think I made that clear that it is not about suffering or not suffering. It is not about that. It is all about how much you have sent forward. So, those who are suffering, and if they suffer with the patience and thankfulness, सबर और शुक्र के साथ अगर सफर करते हैं, they can go even further if they want to. But imagine those who suffer and keep complaining about suffering, they're lost and lost on both sides. It is not about suffering or not suffering. It is about how much have you sent forward, how much have you done good. That it is all about that. A person without suffering can go from here 6 to 12 if he wishes to. And a person who suffer and doesn't go anywhere but 6 to 5 or not even that. So I hope you're understanding it is not about suffering or not suffering, it's about how much have you sent forward. G.
Subhanallah. यहाँ पर एक follow-up question है साथी का. What is the
जी.
difference between the experience of death of worldly person or the experience of death of an average soul? The life review of both souls will take place just after the body leaves. And who will convince the earth or a worldly person or worldly soul not to remain attached and linger to the world?
Okay. I don't know, it is just me or this question are becoming more complicated. Maybe it's just me. Let's say it is just me. All right. So there are multiple questions in this question. First one, if you die before you die, mutu kabla anta mutu. If that is the status of your soul, then you will know the death before you die. Those who do not go through the stage of mutu kabla anta mutu will see, understand, and detest the death after he leaves this physical world. Those were your first two questions. Third question, I think it was not a complete or a logical question. Who will convince? That was not a right or logical question. So I will rather not answer that question. G.
Subhanallah. Another question is, as you mentioned about the 12 o'clock, if a person is at 12 o'clock and decides to come down, do they have more advantage or more power to choose how you want to live, or where would you be like to born?
100% definitely, most certainly. Because at that point, you are with the single soul of the Imam, and Imam has the complete authority, and you are with the Imam. So, what will you have? Remember your free will with the complete authority. And I can see a following up question coming. Then, why would someone come poor, handicapped, sick, non Ismaili, non Muslim, non Christian? Why would you pick one from over the other when you have the free will, a complete free will? Let me go ahead and answer that too. So first answer was yes, you have a complete authority. Second, because when Imam asks you to choose a life other than of your liking, because when Imam asks and you are at the position to choose, you chose what you chose and how you came. Only reason we are worried and sometimes we are puzzled that why would someone not pick a good life over a bad life? Because you are living in a physical world where you cannot see what you had wished and what Imam had asked for you to choose. If you only could see that or with the ilm understand that, all of this question will be null and voided. Because Imam asked you to do something and you gracefully said, Ya Mola, if that's what you like, I will go ahead and take it. That is the answer to your question. G.
Subhanallah. यहाँ पर साथी का सवाल है, when the soul is leaving the body, how long will the soul stay around family? And can they make you sense their body around you? And similar question about 3 seconds, as you mentioned, if there is any reference about that 3 seconds that they will be shown their lifetime.
One principle to remember, I'm going to answer the second question first. One principle to remember, whenever in the teaching, whomever uses a number, never hold them to that number. Never, ever. Let me give you some example. 1,24,000 पैगंबर. Who have counted 124,000 पैगंबर? 100-year life. Does every human lives to be 100 year? Each period of nothing is 1,000 year. Is it exactly 1,000 year? This 50,000 year journey, is that exactly 50,000? Or is it like 49,000 and some hundreds? Never hold someone to the number. In the teaching, we call that figurative speech, to make you understand that at the end, at the very last seconds, there is a very short time. And how can I make you understand that short time? So what number did I use? 3 seconds. The very short seconds, very short time you would have where you will receive your deeds, good and bad, and you will know where you are about to go. Now, do you need the reference or do you understand my point? Remember the principle of figurative speech to make you understand a short period of time. And what would be better to use the word 3 seconds? The second question, how long the soul will linger around? Another very long session it would require for me to explain. Because to you, there is one single soul, the human soul in your body. To me, we have hundreds and millions of souls in our body. How can I explain that in 1 minute or 5 minutes? Your soul, when Imam takes, it takes, and that's it. There is no lingering around. But your other souls in your body, and I can give you very scientific answer. Your heart, your eyes, your other organs are living sometime for hours and sometime for days. And you can research that on Google. Which organ lives how long? You see, the question must be understood in a detail, because which soul are you talking about? Your eye, your human soul, or are you talking about all the souls in your body? All right, Nevin Saba, we are running in overtime. If we have one more question, we can take.
There is one question. As we know that in some religions, there is no such concept of Baitul Khayal. And if, like the other rituals, if they are reciting Qurans and Tasbih in comparison to our tariqah, where we know about it, regardless do we perform it or not, will it not difficult for them to, and how would these souls perform ibadat and take ilm after the death in the spiritual world if they don't have such formal Betul Khel practice on this earth?
My friend, you are comparing physical to spiritual. You are comparing physical to spiritual. In the physical world, everyone has a free will and everyone has their own way of thinking, their religion, their rites and ritual. But once you die, doesn't matter you are Hindu, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Ismaili, it doesn't matter. You are not comparing apple to apple. In the spiritual side of our soul, it does not matter what you have or do not have on this side. Everyone would have to take a journey according to what they have sent forward. May it be Quran, Ginan, Dua, Tasbih, Bible, Torah, doesn't matter. What good deeds have you sent forward? Last one way of explaining that. Smiley, a Muslim, a Christian, a Jewish, a Hindu, an atheist. If Smiley is a bad Smiley and an atheist is a good human, who do you think is a better person? Who is a good human is a better person always. The benefit of being in a good place, if you are a good person first, required, principle, must. If you are not a good human, everything else doesn't matter. If you are a good human, then if you have a good guidance, then you have a good rites and ritual, then you have a good ilm, then you have a good ibadat, then if you are a right place, elevated soul, all this sits on what? Being a good person, a good human. I believe this answered your question and then some. Inshallah, we can end here if you like.
Gee, there are a few more comments and questions. Nachis will send it to you. So maybe inshallah we can take it in the next session. Thank you,
Inshallah.
Yalimadad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Naveen. Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yali
Yani
Madad. Yali
Madad,
Madad.
thank
Yali
you.
Yani
Madad.
Madat, Shukar.
Yali
Yani
Madad,
Yali
sir.
Madad,
Madad,
Alhamdulillah.
Yali
Thank
Yali
you
Madad,
so
Madad.
Yani
much,
thank
sir.
Madat,
you.
Madat.
Navroz Mubarak.
Yani Madat, sir.
Navroz Mubarak. Yali Madad. Yali Madad.
Nowruz
Navroz
Mubarak.
Mubarak.
Yali
Yani
Madad.
Madad,
Yali Madad.
Yani Madad. Thank you very much.
Yali Madad. Yali Madad.
Thank you,
Yani
Aziz bhai.
Madad,
Yali
Yali
Madad.
Madad. Yali Madad. Yali Madad. Thank you. Thank
Aziz
you.
bhai, thank you very much for your time. माशाल्लाह से बहुत
Shukr
सीखने
Alhamdulillah.
को मिलता है, बहुत स्पिरिचुअल नॉलेज मिली है।
Shukr Mullah. Shukr Mullah. Shukr Mullah. Shukr Mullah.
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
Yali Madad. Yali Madad.